and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time and if this is your first time seeing this lovely beautiful face. My name is Toby Daniels and it's so good to have you here today. If you're yet to subscribe, can I ask you to please subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell as well so that you'll be the first to know anytime I post a video. Okay, please really subscribe, and not just subscribe but also engage with my channel. Before I actually go into today's video, let's have a little bit of a chit chat, because this is kind of, it feels like it's been a while that I've actually sat down in front of camera to just record. Actually, no, it's not. I did one in Cyprus, so yeah, I did sit down to film that. But anyway, let's chat a little. So I've been really, if I'm being honest, I've really been second guessing myself, with this YouTube channel or with my YouTube channel, and thinking that, what's the point? I've just been thinking that, are people enjoying it? My viewership isn't great at all. Even though I've had more subscribers, the viewership has kind of remained the same, even gone down. But even the subscriber growth it's quite bad, because I've been on YouTube for quite a long time now. Of course, I haven't been consistent the whole time, but say in the past 2 years almost, I feel or maybe 18 months, I've been quite consistent and the growth has not been too good. So yeah, it just kind of makes me, if I'm being completely honest, it's just making me second guess and thinking, okay, should I be doing this? Should I just stop this? I think it's just me being honest. What do you guys think? Do you think, is this something do you enjoy watching my videos? Are there things that maybe you'd like to see more of, or things maybe you want to see less of, or just give me your tips, just whatever you think as well. Okay, all right, enough of that. Let's get into today's video. Alright, so today, as you've seen from the title, I'm talking about people, particularly ladies, if we're being honest, leaving. It's not just ladies, but I feel majority of this group of people is probably ladies. But I'm talking about people leaving or moving churches, or Christian ladies moving churches to find Mr. Right. Again, if you're new here, I do film about faith, relationships, lifestyle, property, and today's a relationship video. I actually love. I love talking about relationships, and it's been a while, so today's one of those videos, and I just thought actually this is such a good topic to talk about, because I was, prime example of, this. Anyway, we'll get into it. Okay, so before I actually tell you my opinion, what do you think? Do you think that it's okay for a single lady to leave churches, maybe if she feels where she is or the church is in, maybe there aren't many eligible men, or maybe not even many people of our age group, so it's not even a case of having options to pick from? And if you look at to be honest, maybe a lot of, if let's just imagine Amaka, we'll give the name Amaka, our imaginary lady. Amaka works in the city in London. She doesn't do much. She's not really she just has a job, she goes there and leaves, doesn't socialize, doesn't do anything. So our routine is pretty much work, home, work, church, home. It's literally that triangle. But then Amaka is in a church where there are maybe at best 4 or 5 single guys, and Amaka is currently seriously considering moving churches to, maybe moving to a bigger church, or a church that has more younger guys, or younger or more eligible men, according to Amaka. What do you think about that? Before you find out what I want to say, what do you think? What should Amaka do? Do you think Amaka should definitely move, keep her options open, and especially because she doesn't really have a social life outside of church and work, that's literally our life. And for me, I was in that situation when church I was at, the church I'm still at. I think at the time, it felt there weren't that many single guys, single eligible guys. So there were some, but I kind of crossed out pretty much everyone, all right? And so there wasn't any, it was almost a case of, except someone new is going to walk in. Other than that, I just didn't see myself being with anyone that was in the church at the time. And genuinely, people, when I say people, a couple of people told me, I had this conversation with a couple of people, and they were saying, basically, they were of the opinion that it's not a bad thing to move churches, to just kind of widen or broaden your spectrum or broaden your net, as it were. And I, at the time, was really against it, and I still am. Not really against it, like, oh, if you do it, like, it's horrible, you shouldn't do that. It's not a case of, I don't think it's not like, oh, this is a sin, do not do that. But it's just, for me, like, God is so much bigger than that. So the way I say, like, if I look at my personal life, I met my husband's name is Shay. I met my husband in a different country altogether. So imagine if I was living, and again, I'm one of those people that believe that, there is the one. I know, like, not everyone believes that, but I believe that there is the one, or God's perfect will for you. So I met him in Nigeria. So imagine if I was actually going to different churches and thinking, oh, I want to have I want to keep my options open. I want to increase my options and, look for more potentials. And then I go to different churches. Of course, I wasn't going to go to a church in Nigeria because I live here in the UK. So if I went to different churches, around where I live, or even like far away, I wasn't going to find him there because he wasn't even in the country. So no matter like how much or where I moved to, I wasn't going to find him in this country. Except, God miraculously brought him here and we connected, or someone introduced us to each other, or, something like that. But the point is, it wasn't going to be in any of the churches. And the way I see it, I'm like, God is so big. Like, God is so big, is so, like, you don't need to help God in that sense. And the other part, I was thinking about, Isaac and Rebecca, how they met. There was no way, like, they lived in different cities. There was no way that Isaac was going to meet Rebecca. I mean, Abraham literally sent his men, to go and find, and, they told God, whoever we say this to, or sorry, Abraham told his servants that whoever says, basically offers you water, that's the person. But if you look at, Rebecca, people could have been telling her that, Rebecca, you need to leave the city. Nothing good is going to come out of this place. You're not going to find anyone. But truth be told, that if she actually moved and went to different, she's probably still not going to find him. So my point is that God is so big that we don't need to help him in that sense. If God is telling you to move churches, by all means do so. But I don't think you should move primarily because, there aren't, maybe you feel like there aren't eligible bachelors or eligible, single guys or ladies, if you're a guy and you're watching this, I really don't think that that's one, or that should be the main reason why you move. There could be other things. And if you're really, really concerned about it and feel like, God, like, where is this husband? Where is this wife? Then that's something that you can definitely, not something that you can, something that you should definitely take it to God in prayer. I'm not saying that go to God, like, God is your, like, is our friend, is our father. So he's really, really interested, like, in all of this things. So if you're really, really concerned and feeling like, God, because actually, who says you're going to find him in church? Like, it may or may not be in church. You can meet him anywhere, like if you ask a lot of people, like, where they met their spouses, it's many different places, places that, of course, there's the conventional, we met in church, we sat next to each other and it was all sweet and blah blah blah. But a lot of people didn't meet like that. A lot of people, they meet in the supermarket, they meet in like really, really random places, and places that you go to every day anyway. So I think that my point is, like, you do what you're doing, right? Do and make sure that you're rooted in God and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Again, I'm not like of the school of thought of ladies that will just cook themselves somewhere inside their house, lock themselves up, never do anything. They'll invite you to events, you would never go. You won't go for anything social at all, and you're just, waiting for the man to literally be dropped on your lap. And maybe, that could happen. But I definitely, just subscribe to, getting yourself out there, being social, being nice, meeting people, going to, birthday parties, social events, maybe singles events, just stuff like that. Like, definitely go out. But I wouldn't say, like, move churches or move cities just because, you're trying to find the one. God is bigger than that. It doesn't need you to help him in that sense. If he really, like, I've actually heard the story of someone I know, even God told him to move church, and he was moving from a much bigger church to a much smaller church, and at the time it was kind of already, was older, like it was an older man. And people were like, that doesn't make sense, like, this is like the time that you really, really should be like focusing on getting married. And of course he wanted to get married as well, but God told him to move. And funny enough, I believe, if I remember the story correctly, the same month that he moved was the same month that God told his wife as well. He moved her from wherever she was, like at church as well, and moved her to the same church, and they met and they got married. Like, God didn't tell them to move because you're going to find your wife. It was, or find your husband. It was just move because, you know, that's the next place I want you to want to take you to. But if there are other reasons why you want to move from your church, and you know, take all those things to God in prayer and just have a word. Make sure that, I think the most important thing is make sure that it's God leading you and not just your quest, you know, to find Mr. Right or Mrs. Right. Let that not be your what's leading you. Let it be God leading you. Okay, in everything it says, as many as are led by the Spirit, these are the sons of God. So make sure that you're being led by the Spirit of God. Okay, that's brings me to the end of the video. But again, as I said earlier in the video, tell me, what do you think? Do you subscribe to, like, moving churches or maybe moving cities or jobs or whatever just to find Mr. or Mrs. Right? Or are you more of, you know, God will do it, just, you know, do your part, like, you know, and let God do his part as well? Because at the end of the day, faith without works is dead. And also going back to what I started this video with about my channel, like, you know, what I can do, what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. Should I stop altogether? But yeah, let me just know what you think. All right, please engage with this video, which is the other issue I have, you know, people not leaving comments and or not leaving comments on the channel. Please leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this video. All right, thank you so much for watching. Till I come your way again, it's Tommy Daniels, and make sure you watch out for my next video that I'm filming right after this with my husband. We're going to be doing a truth or drink. It's going to be juicy. All right, then, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye. It's Tommy Daniels.